and Jamie brought it up that Conor announced his retirement, and I said I thought he was trolling.
You and I had the exact same reaction.
Yeah. I was like, he's trolling. He's
I was like,
around.
no, look at this. It's all weird. He'd be more, you know, eloquent than that. He would have put it out better than that. But
and then the news started coming out, and I also started thinking, well, maybe something happened in training, or maybe it was because of that guy that died recently. And people were saying, you know, they were shocked that I didn't know the full details on the guy's death. Honestly, with things like this, like, you know it's going to happen, and it's unavoidable. There's a certain amount of risk involved in any extreme sport.
Plus, that's the exception.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen. That's the exception. That's like being mad at peanut butter when someone dies. It's like, I'm still going to eat peanut, you know?
It is the exception, but I was waiting for all the details to come out. I don't think they've done an autopsy yet. They don't think they know exactly what happened to him.
I didn't think that with Conor. And I don't know if this is, I don't think it's sharing too much information. When Conor and I had lunch together, I was just talking, and he kept bringing up, it's a recurring theme when we were talking. He goes, the media, man, like, for this, it's such a beast.
Yeah.
He's like, I've done interviews before, but, you know, it's different. Like, he's not a guy where when any other fighter sit down and do an interview, they're really not selling the fight. They're talking about their camp, and they're doing the same thing over and over. Mm-hmm. Conor's a fucking master that we've never seen do it before. So he's coming up with original content nonstop. He's on, you know, like when he came on our podcast, he did the whole car wash. He was exhausted. And then when he came down, you could tell him he was thinking and just started spitting out gold. He's just a beast, man. So to have that guy fly around the world and do all this shit, I mean, at the end of the day, we got to remember, this is a sport. This is not the WWE. So to keep putting on the spectacle like it's similar to WWE, at some point you got to say, man, what these guys do is, it's a real, we're in the hurt business. He has to focus, man. And I just feel like, I think Conor's to blame too. Dana's to blame. I think both of them just need to talk. Because if Conor before is bad playing on him, bad playing on Dana, if he just went, dude, listen, I've sold this fight more than anyone, man. This is nuts. I have to. If I lose this next fight, I'm screwed.
The problem is it sets a precedent now. If I'm looking at it from as a businessman, if I was a businessman, let's pretend.
Okay.
I would say this sets a precedent. You can't let someone decide what press they do and what press they don't do. Like, you have an obligation to fulfill certain responsibilities, like with the media.
For sure. Like create hype.
But the question is, like, when do those responsibilities move into like a purely digital realm? And when do those responsibilities only in showing up places physically, old school, retro, going places? Because, like, there's nothing wrong with the occasional press conference, right?
No.
But also, you could accomplish way more with a few fucking viral videos than you ever could going to some weird interview with two people that aren't MMA fans. And I think he made a really good point about that, doing these morning shows that they make them go do, where, you know, nobody knows who the guy is or the girl.
No,
they don't give
care.
a shit about MMA.
Clicks.
Yeah, they don't want to talk to him the way you want to talk to him or I want to talk to him. You know, when I'm talking to Conor, like, before a fight, I'm trying to find out what's going on in the head of a guy who's going to engage in one of the most exciting things that I'm going to see all year.
No, you're not going on a morning show going, how about that cauliflower, huh?
Yeah.
How'd you get that? Shut the fuck up. But
the
also,
girls like that.
Oh, I know. But Conor's a guy where he's crossed over into pop culture. He's such a big star now. A tweet from him will hype the fight. I guarantee if Conor and Dana had a conversation and Dana was like, all right, man, I understand it's a big fight. Because you got to remember, if you were to lose this one, now you're losing your golden boy, the biggest star by far. By far. So if he could just focus, let's just let him focus a little bit.
Well, I also feel like the magnitude of the dilemma that's in front of him and Nate Diaz is also very apparent. This is not a guy you can half-ass. And even if you are 100% ready, you've never even fought him at 100%.
No.
You fought him when he had 11 days' notice when he'd been drinking in Mexico. I mean, he posted
It's a terrible
photos.
matchup, man. And then you want to fly him on a plane. Did anyone think, man, all right, if you're looking at
we're 3 months away, though.
Okay, but still, Conor's exhausted, man, from doing all this stuff. And also, you know, I see some fighters go, it's our obligation. And a loss to him, you're talking millions. And the UFC, if I'm looking as a businessman, I go, all right, man, he's going to do a press conference, but we're going to come to him. Did anyone think to do that?
Well, first of all, Conor is one of the most charismatic guys seriously of all time in all sports, no doubt about it. I mean, he is a fucking marketing machine. Like, they're just the quotes and his style.
Joe,
and
his
the way,
tweet,
his
I don't mean to
flair.
interrupt you, but his tweet
Yeah.
is the biggest tweet by an athlete this year.
Yeah.
Beat Kobe Bryant's retirement
Yeah.
tweet. And you want him to go do a fucking interview for ESPN while they don't know the sport? Oh, I watch ESPN every morning. They were talking about LeBron James, the playoff game tonight. They interrupted this shit with breaking news to talk about Conor's not retiring. That's how big he is. Now, the PR team at UFC could not get this. They could not get this sort of attention, even if they want to. Conor can. It's a different age, man. Those old interviews, those press conference, you have a legit fucking superstar, man, who makes more money than anyone. The highest gates.
Totally forgot what I was going to say. I had a serious point.
Sorry, brother.
That's okay. Shit.
Sometimes I just go.
No, well, you have all good points, all valid points.
And I get there's contracts, I get stuff like that, but there has to be where you can't have a pissing contest. You can't say, well, we're going to run it like a business this time and then not this time because it's good for the company. With Conor McGregor and this big of a fight, if he wins this, dude, you know how much more money you're going to make? Not the fucking press conference.
Well, you're absolutely right that he's one of the most charismatic guys of all time. But Nate Diaz right now is goddamn gigantic. And I think we're going to realize he's not as big as Conor.
Not even close.
But he's goddamn gigantic. He's huge. And
see what happens if Conor doesn't fight.
That's part of that fight. Part of that fight is that Conor is also fighting another mercurial superstar character.
I agree.
Especially now after the first fight.
I agree, Joe. But let's say Conor doesn't fight at UFC 200 and let's say Nate fights Woodley or Robbie Lawler. Let me know how his ratings go. Let me know if you even
he's not
break.
Going to fight at 170. I don't.
Well,
think.
all right. Let's say at 155. Let's say he fights Dos Anjos. Let me know how those ratings go.
Here's where it won't be as close.
Oh,
we
wouldn't
know
even
that.
be a quarter of it.